All right, so we have Andrew asking. He says, "Greetings. I'm attending a
Greetings.
gothic Halloween fancy dress party and want to go kilted. What character would suit a kilt without looking costumey, or disrespecting the kilt?"
Okay, so now we're getting into kilts for Halloween costumes.
He's going to a costume party.
Costume party.
Halloween fancy dress party.
Halloween fancy dress
So he doesn't
party.
have to be a character per se then. He can just look cool.
I would assume so, but he also asks what character would suit a kilt without looking costumey. So I think in this case he is trying to blend two together.
What was the name again?
Andrew.
Andrew, I would like to volunteer myself as your personal shopper. DM me. I think I can help you out with this. I think it depends on whether is the party basically a gothy party like Dracula's Ball, like a dance party, or is it an actual regular Halloween party where people are dressing up as characters? Like, are you going to be there in your gothic finery with somebody dressed like a candy bar? It sounds like that's not the case, but I don't know. Where do you want to start with it? There's a lot of ways to talk about this.
Yeah. It is a fine line in my estimation between when you incorporate a kilt into a different type of outfit, into a costume, essentially. It's a fine line between, incorporating your heritage into this other hobby or this other thing, or becoming a caricature. So the easy thing to say is, if you are trying to replicate or whatever a particular person. So using a non-gothic example, if I was going to be a kilted wrestler, if I was going to be Rowdy Roddy Piper and wear the hot rod shirt and have on my red kilt and my my high go-go boots for to look like wrestler boots, then sure, that makes sense because I'm replicating a particular person. If I'm saying that I'm going to be Jamie Fraser from Outlander and wear French riding boots or whatever he's wearing, plus kilt, plus X, Y, and Z, and that is my costume, and I'm emulating a particular person, it's a little bit more acceptable in my mind because you're not just hey, I'm generic Scotsman number 6, and I'm going to be wearing my kilt and this patch of fur cloth that I'm going to call a sporran and wear my See Ya Jimmy hat and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. So it's a balance. How do you do that with gothic type stuff for a particular character?
Here's the thing. I would separate it out. I would either go make a gothic outfit that incorporates a kilt that just looks dead sexy. I mean, the bottom line with gothic fashion is a dark romantic vibe. So don't worry about a character, just look incredibly elegant and sexy. Think vampire, but don't necessarily be a vampire. That's how I would play that. If you're going to do a character, if you have a great kilt, or I would be a little tempted to try doing something like Sawney Bean. I mean, that's kind of like the ultimate human Scottish monster from history. And so you get together a kind of a 18th century vibe outfit and make yourself look gaunt, and like you just finished eating
people
a leg, then I would go with Sawney Bean. That'd be my answer for that. Or a ghost. You can always be a ghost. There's lots of examples of Scottish ghost stories, and you can basically almost every battlefield that ever happened in Scotland is haunted. So pick a battle, or be the Piper of Duntroon or something like that. But I would either do the style and not worry about a character, or do a character and make it legit Highland dress, but spookify your makeup a little bit. That's how I would play it.
Yeah,
what I mean.
Well, there's 2 comments that say they should either go as Rocky or Eric or as me. So, I mean, there's those options.
This was a goth party, not a goofball party. Not a circus.
I don't know. Take Rocky and turn him goth. Let's see what happens.
I would love that. I mean, I've already done a goth photo shoot for the company, which we occasionally trot out when we have questions like this. Like, how can you make a kilt look good with that fashion style? So that's where I live, But Rocky dressed as anything other than Rocky could be funny, honestly.
I've never worn makeup. I don't have any desire to wear eyeliner, and
Rocky is a juggalo. We could go that direction too.
get my hatchet.
Your Fago.
Exactly.
So I don't know how useful that answer was, but that's basically my answer: is lean into one, either lean into the aesthetic, or lean into a character, and don't worry about modern accessories if you do.
Yeah, it's a fine line, and we are not the arbiters of truth necessarily. We are not the arbiters of what you're allowed to do or not allowed to do. We're here just to give our opinions. Whether you agree with us or don't, that's on you. But it's in my mind, it's the fine line thing. So everybody has to find their own line on what is acceptable to kind of mix cultures and mix things versus letting the thing be by itself. We posted a meme the other day of would you wear a kilt to Oktoberfest? And somebody kind of pushed back in the comments like, no, I wouldn't. It's disrespectful. I don't think it's necessarily disrespectful because there's ways to do it if you're wearing a German heritage or whatever. But like I'm going to a German festival tomorrow and I'm not wearing a kilt. I may wear lederhosen. So it's one of those things where you lean into the experience for what the experience is. You don't have to throw all the things together all the time to make it better. Sometimes leaning into the singular experience makes a more meaningful memory, makes a more meaningful experience than it does trying to say, oh, I'm going to add this and add this and add this and add this. And it just kind of becomes too much.
But it's a Halloween party.
Understood.
So it's cosplay. I mean, and so I have a similar attitude to it that I do with cosplay. One of the things I would say about doing a historical character, an actual Scottish or Irish monstrous character, would be learn the story. If you're going to go dressed as Sawney Bean, then learn the legend of Sawney Bean. So if somebody asks you who you are, you can sell them at length. Yeah, he was this famous, possibly real, possibly legend cannibal chieftain who lived in the 18th century. No, wait, 17th century. And lean into that, and you're being a sincere student of the folklore then, and maybe getting somebody intrigued about learning something about it. I mean, I think that's a great way to go. But as far as it being Halloween stuff, Gothic is just a fashion style.
Yeah.
At base, I mean, it's also a scene, but it's just like, should you wear a suit and tie with your kilt? Do you think it looks good? Yeah. Kilts can be applied to any modern fashion.
Yeah, that's fair as well.
I just wouldn't try to cross the streams like that. I'd either go stylistic or go character, but not mix modern stuff with historical.
And contextual as well, depending on the event that you're going to, whatever. But the only thing that I would kind of say, I don't think I've ever said this directly before, is, and this is not meant to sound like a threat, but potentially be aware you might get some pushback from somebody. If somebody says like, well, why are you wearing that? That's making fun of my heritage, making fun of my culture. I think that would be almost. It would. I don't think it's going to happen all that much, but it might happen in those types of events more than just wearing it out to a wedding or something. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. So never mind.
You're saying I can't dress goth to go to a wedding?
No, you can. I'm saying with I don't know, with the Halloween costumey kind of thing. More of that.
So does that mean cosplayers shouldn't are you saying the 501st Kilted Brigade is wrong? Are they making a mockery of Scottish culture by going kilted?
I think it's their own. They have to. It's between them and their god, so to speak. It's every person has to make that decision for themselves. I would say if you're going to get pushback, that would likely be how I've historically seen the pushback come, is from those types of situations. So that's a clearer way to say what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right. I'm going to undig myself from this hole and go to the next question. Hey guys, remember, if you want to support our channel, you don't have to do the thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that stuff. You can do that too. But the best way to support us is head to our retail shop. We have a website with everything kilts and Highland wear related. Head over to usakilts.com.